Today's show is brought to you by My Patriot Supply Storable Food. Visit preparewith-K2D4.com today. You'll save $100 off a full 4-week supply of emergency food from My Patriot Supply. That's preparewith-K2D4.com today.
Coming up on Talk is Cheap, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at Wright Patterson Air Force Base. Now, this was the base that the rumored UFO came from Roswell, as well as the Aztec crash. Let's check it out and see what it entails. Welcome to Talk is Cheap, episode 155. I'm Dan Hofeld. Glorious, glorious day. Joining me is Pete Hallbleib. How are you?
Crazy stuff, right? Doing well, Dan. You gave me control of the soundboard, so things are going to get crazy.
Yeah, are you fine tuning your skills with that? It takes practice.
Yeah, it totally does. Okay, there you go. I think that I'm doing all right. No,
you can put yourself down. That's great.
Anyway, how's it going, Dano? How you been, man?
I'm gonna give you the whole load today.
I'm doing well. I'm very excited for this episode. We've all been kind of waiting for this.
Dude, this episode has been hanging out there forever.
This is Wright Patterson Air Force Base, ladies and gentlemen, because they say that this is where the Roswell crash went. And then I recently talked on my last episode I did with the Aztec crash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Aztec crash one was awesome.
And I had no idea about that. It was brought to our attention. It was great. Just like this topic was suggested by Nick Burford. Nick Burford? Something like that. Let's take a closer look and see what's going on at Wright Patterson Air Force Base, where, again, alleged UFO debris is taking place.
Crazy stuff, right?
So let's start off with the location of this whole thing, because we're talking about an area. Oh, where the hell is it at?
Ooh, Burger King. I could go for a Whopper right now.
This is in Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio is where Wright Patterson Air Force Base is.
When you type in Wright Patterson Air Force Base, it's going to take you up here. This is originally where I thought all the action was going on.
But it's not.
It comes down here is where the actual old school, because they have the Air Force Museum.
Oh, I wonder what's underground in there, huh?
And we'll get into a lot of a couple things in that museum there that are interesting.
How do you know?
So yeah, this is the base here. We got our runways.
That looks like a computer-generated hangars, though, doesn't it? You think that's a photo? That looks all computer-generated to me, man.
Well, it's doing some magic to get the 3D. I didn't even get this close to this, so I'm a little impressed right now doing this myself.
I don't see... Oh, wait, there's some stuff outside.
Oh, there's a bad rendering. Why is it so, hot and...
There we go.
Anyway, we're going to be focusing over here, because what we're going to do here is
Area B.
Important right off the bat. I'm going to get this off. This is where Project Blue Book began.
Really?
Yes, and it's even in that. I didn't even put two and two together. It's in the Project Blue Book video on the History Channel, the series.
Really?
A lot of disclosure in there.
So that's where Project Blue Book started?
And before Project Blue Book, there was also Project Sign and Project Grudge. They all studied UFOs.
Really?
Coincidence?
I haven't heard about those two before.
I haven't either. Those came up in the research, and it was like,
interesting. So UFOs have been around a lot longer than Project Blue Book, huh? Or at least the government interest in them.
So Project Blue Book began in 1951 and ran to 1969. Now, what comes up when you research Wright Patterson Air Force Base, where the alleged UFO stuff is, it says it's in Hangar 18 at that base. Well, the issue is, officially, there is no Hangar 18.
So
right off the bat, I was like...
Yeah, okay, so that's the underground hangar, right?
Okay, so this is Wright Patterson Air Force Base. This is the actual official .mil site. So you can go here, scroll to the bottom.
Oh, it is a .mil.
We got Hangar 18. The infamous Hangar 18 is known for its association with conspiracy theorists around the country for housing what could be objects from unidentified object crash in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. There is a theory that debris was shipped to Hangar 18 from Roswell. The only problem is it never existed. There has never actually been a Hangar 18 anywhere on Wright Patterson Air Force Base.
Talk is cheap.
So I was like, all right, it ain't Hangar 18, but what else could there be, you know?
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is that Hangar 18 could have been called something else officially, and then it's very easy for them to say something like this, right?
I got this PDF from somewhere. I think it was actually on the Wright Patterson Air Force Base, like visitor guide.
Seems legit.
This is a map of the area. They actually have, and this actually came up in my research later, so I'm just getting to the point right now, but it'll cross-reference later in my story here. There's an 18F right here, and there's a building 23 next to it.
Oh, so it's not Hangar 18, it's Hangar 18F, guys. Come on.
Well, it's not a hangar.
It's just a building.
So when you look at the, so this is Library of Congress.
Oh, building 18. So it's building 18, not Hangar 18.
Yeah, there's now you're thinking. So 18F. Now there's also like building 18 power plant. So I think it kind of gets confusing here, but what we're trying to look at is 18F. And that's this, if it comes up. Okay, here we go. Here's a picture
big
of it.
Warehouse looking thing there.
So we got
big brick rectangular building with a huge, look at that door there.
Yeah, so that's enough for a truck to get in there.
Yeah, there's
and
a couple
load up.
roll up doors there. Yeah.
Are you going to get a big UFO through that door? No.
Pieces of one you will. Right? And
yeah, you could disassemble it.
Is there
which they did
a
in
top
Aztec.
view? Is there a top view of this building anywhere?
Well, why don't we go to Google Maps and check it out?
I'm just the reason why I ask. I'm wondering if there's like some sort of like a rollback door on the roof that you'd airlift things in, come from the top or something, right?
Okay, so this right here is the 18F.
Oh, see, that looks so computer rendered to me, though. That doesn't look like a photo at all.
Well, yeah, that's how the Google.
Yeah, but I've
works.
looked at other Google stuff that looks a lot more like realistic. That's like this.
There is this.
Ooh, look at that.
But why in the corner? And it almost looks like it's part of the outside, like a. I don't know, like maybe an inside outside smoke area. Maybe I don't know. There's something you could do.
There's a hole in the wall there.
That's probably a rendering issue.
Or it's not. Okay, well, it doesn't look, according to Google Maps, like there's any sort of rollbacks on there.
So,
but that is weird, though. It's got that one corner of the exposed space, which isn't terribly big.
Interesting thing here next to it. So this building right next to here.
There's no air handling units on the roof. Nothing. Just some exhaust.
There's one on this one.
Yeah.
So this building next to it here is building 23.
That's got a tall ceiling in it, doesn't it?
This used to be Hangar 23. Look at the door.
Oh, ooh, can we see
Inside?
No, can we see the building 18F, the side that's facing those doors there? Like rotate the whole thing 180.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was just
nothing.
looking on that side of the building. Okay. No, I thought maybe there was like another set of doors similar to the other one.
But what
okay.
the thinking is with all of this is they could easily, okay, you got Hangar 23, or this used to be Hangar 23, now it's building 23. Well, this could have been
Hangar 18.
They could have got rid of the big thing there, the doors and all that stuff.
Yeah. Boy, it doesn't really look it doesn't look peculiar or anything besides that one like corner that's exposed, which is weird. I'd like to.
It's a little ways away from the runway. But I suppose you could taxi.
Well, they're not flying in the Roswell craft, or anything like that. They're hauling it in on trucks. What does the accessibility to trucks look like? Pretty good, right?
Oh, yeah. Anywhere there's road.
Yeah, it's got roads all around it and stuff.
So, okay, the rumor is here that the floor was removed in building 23 here and that the spacecraft was put below.
But the spacecraft itself wasn't all that large. I don't recall, things that, they hauled it away on a flatbed semi-trailer.
3 separate pieces.
Right? And so it's not like it's super huge, but
I'm not sure how they did the Roswell one. We know the Aztec one, they put it into pieces. I don't know if they had to haul the Roswell one as a whole.
Yeah, because they had to get a crane or something to move it, right? Was that
Aztec,
the Aztec one? It doesn't surprise me, right? The military and the government like to go down when they hide stuff. The deeper they go into the earth, the more secretive it is, right?
Yes.
18F here building had a vault area with a tunnel built over to 23.
Oh, that makes sense.
So now
I bet you that whole place has got tunnels all.
That opens up a whole world of possibilities, because you could see how Building 18 could get confused with Hangar 18, or if it wasn't a hangar, it's a good mess and plausible deniability and whatever else you want to do.
They'll do that, right? So they can look you in the eye and say, it's not Hangar 18, but it's Building 18.
That ain't lying. Then that's. So let's go over some
let's do that.
Witness testimony, because this is the most stuff we get out of here. Now, this is an affidavit. You know what an affidavit is, Pete?
I do. Is it a legit affidavit? Or, how do we know it's legit? That it's not just some guy typing in Word claiming it's a...
Well,
I think
it's a good question.
Yeah,
but
I think for the purposes of this discussion, we'll call it an affidavit.
You're asking good questions.
I get so suspicious these days because I don't believe anything that I see anymore.
But what's interesting about this whole case is there's a lot of different people, and they're kind of saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. So
crazy stuff, right?
Okay, so we got Captain Oliver Henderson here.
Is that the same as Sappho Henderson? Oh, that's Henderson's wife. I'm sorry.
Now, he was a senior pilot in 1947 at the Roswell base, and he had a top secret security clearance. In 1986, before his death, he stated he had flown UFO wreckage and alien bodies from Roswell to Wright Patterson Air Force Base.
So he was a pilot in the cargo plane hauling this stuff over.
He was the point man to get it over there. Like, you can't get any awesomer job. Number one, awesomer job, and two, it sucks because you can't tell anybody, but. Front line.
But as you get older, you start telling, right?
Yeah, if you're going to die, it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Screw them.
Mary Grude. Oh, man, I wish I had my computer here. I want to Google Mary Grude.
So we're going to go through, I got points here on these affidavits. First one here is Henderson's wife. Interesting here. In 1980 or 1981, he picked up a newspaper at the grocery store where we were living in San Diego. One article described the crash of a UFO outside Roswell with bodies of aliens discovered beside the craft. He pointed out the article to me and he said, I want you to read this article because it's true story. I'm the pilot who flew the wreckage of the UFO to Dayton, Ohio. I guess now that they're putting it out in the paper, I can tell you all about this. I wanted to tell you for years.
Interesting.
And he described the beings as small with large heads for their size. He said the materials that their suits are made of is different than anything he had ever seen. He said they looked strange. I believe he mentioned that bodies had been packed in dry ice to preserve them.
Why wouldn't you?
I think I kind of went through that. I was going to show that document. And I don't think you were on the show when I showed that SOM 1-01, how to pack alien bodies. Like, this was like a government document on how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy
stuff.
Well,
it's just like the Department of the Interior holding trainings on what to do if you encounter a Sasquatch, man. That shit's out there too, man.
So the next one here, we got an affidavit of Henderson's daughter. So his own daughter now. So in 1981, my father told me that he saw the crashed craft and alien bodies he described in the article, and that he had flown the wreckage to Ohio. He described the alien beings as small and pale, with slanted eyes and large heads. He said they were humanoid looking, but different from us. I think he said there were 3 bodies. He said the matter had been top secret and that he was not supposed to discuss it with anyone, but he felt that it was all right to discuss it because it was in the paper. So again, bam.
Oh, God. There's so much within this affidavit because it is not a scanned, for those listening and not seeing, it's not a scanned affidavit that looks like official. It's like typed in, basically like in a Word form,
Well, here too, I want to mention this because they got signed
and
there's a witness.
Notary public.
There's a witness here. So I suppose you could find the witness, or maybe there's some kind of a,
I mean, this is from 91. This is not terribly long ago. 20 years, 19 years.
And the last one here is from John Schroeder. It's his friend and business partner.
I want to see if any of these people are alive and call them.
So in 1977, Henderson told me about the Roswell incident.
1 year later, Henderson produced a piece of metal taken from the craft. I gave it a good, thorough looking at and decided that it was an alloy that we are not familiar with. It was a gray, lustrous metal resembling aluminum, but lighter in weight and much stiffer. Again,
okay, all right. Well, so he's retired from the field of dentistry. Sorry, John. I don't know if you can make that assessment, but I get what you're saying. But
because he works in dentistry, he's got no credit. Is that what you're saying?
As determining metal alloys and stuff, yeah, okay, yes, I do. You know what I'm saying? He's not a metallurgist by any means, but
he could do it for a hobby.
Just because somebody says, "Well, I've never seen anything like that before," doesn't make an alien.
It looked like aluminum, but and then this is the whole thing with Roswell. They crumpled it up, opened it up, and then it went back.
Yeah, well, he's
That's the same thing.
He's not saying that though. Is the thing, but his previous statement about his conversation with Henderson, I find a little more validated. But I don't know. You and I, Dan, can't look at a piece of metal and know what alloy it is, and if it's
you could say aluminum, resembling aluminum.
I mean, his statement's accurate that it was an alloy that he wasn't familiar with. Okay, all right. There are alloys out there that nobody's familiar with.
Oh, sure,
right?
yeah.
So, he's describing titanium. If I were to look at that, it's gray, lustrous, resembling aluminum, but lighter and much stiffer. That's titanium, and potentially. So anyway, John's testimony is not as convincing as his daughter's or his wife's.
Okay, so this next one here, Marion Magruder. So he told his son Mark Magruder that there was a piece of metal that you could wrinkle up.
Yep, that is,
and then go back into this shape.
Such a famous account from the Roswell crash,
so
right?
I'm almost kind of wondering if that's the same piece. I know he didn't. You just said he didn't state that crumpled. You're right on the last one with the dentist guy, but I wonder if those were the same piece or.
Well,
same part.
I don't know. He said it was much stiffer, so that would indicate to me it was a different piece, right? He didn't. Okay. I mean, the fact that he said it was stiffer doesn't lend itself to a crinkling and open up. But that crinkling and open up is like probably one of the first memories of the Roswell crash that I've ever had, and I've seen like reenactments and stories on that. And that pops up time and time again when we talk about the Roswell crash. That piece that you crinkle and goes back.
Yeah, he said you weren't able to tear it. It was very light. And his dad seen parts of craft, bodies, living beings. He said they were childlike, thin with oversized heads, long arms, four digits.
That's a new one, isn't it, Dan?
I can't remember the official stuff on the Roswell one. But
I buy the big heads and long arms. I think that's pretty common. But the 4 digits, that's kind of new to me.
Father referred to the fact that we killed it. Sworn to secrecy under the threat of court-martial, kept it secret for 50 years in 97 deathbed confession.
Funny how these deathbed conventions come. So they killed us. So basically they went and this alien was like, spitting weird green alien blood out of its mouth, and they just probably put a 45 in its head to finish it off.
Well, yeah, we're also going to get into bodies that were actually taken to Wright Patterson.
But yeah, weren't there more than 3 bodies though, Dan? Allegedly, weren't there like 6?
The Aztec one had what? 12. It was a lot.
Yeah,
like 12.
I remember we were counting them on the artist's drawing of it.
Okay, so another one here is Captain Robert M. Collins. He's a retired U.S. Air Force. He's spent 6 years at Wright Patterson Air Force Base. His job was to analyze Soviet tech. People who actually worked. Wright Patterson said the UFO was here.
Right. And you know what, though? Think in his role, you give him a piece of UFO and say, this is Soviet. Right. And so he's got plausible denial too then. Right. What was he evaluating? Was it alien or was it Soviet? Right.
So it's kind of a joking thing at the base, or I shouldn't even say joking because the next witness I'll get into after this talks about this too.
This is good stuff, Dan. I like this, man. This really gets me rolling here, man.
The people at the base say that this is where the aliens are. This is where the UFOs are. They talked about vaults being underground, 100 feet by 100 feet, 4 vaults. That these are actually cryogenic storage for the bodies.
Doesn't surprise me one bit.
Next witness, Norma Gardner. Her job was actually to catalog the debris.
Worked in the Foreign Materials Division with a top secret security clearance rating at Wright Patterson Air Force Base in the 1940s and the 50s. Retired in 1959 for health reasons.
Ooh.
That was cancer.
Yeah, from all the radiation from the shit she was cataloging.
That very well could be. Deathbed confession this was.
I'm telling you, man, there's some value to be put in deathbed confessions if it's real. I wish it was recorded, but, 59, you're not going to get that.
But he's old and out of their mind, right?
He is weird.
So she was assigned to catalog all the incoming UFO material, approximately 1,000 items she did, and this included items from the interior. All items were photographed, tagged.
Is this Freedom of Information Act available yet? I mean, how do you do that? We should, folks, someone out there has to have a really good job. Send us some damn money so we can hire a lawyer to dig into some of this stuff, because by now, 60, 70 years later, this stuff has got to be available if you know the right place to ask.
We're going to get into a couple FOIs.
Oh, God. I mean, this is right for FOI stuff, and I apologize. I don't even know how to do it. I don't know what it costs. But if somebody out there can make a donation to the network, there's got to be some quiet in the shadow Saudi prince watching our episode right now. Send us some money and we will look into that and get that. We will hire somebody to find that for us, because I would say that's got to be available. It's just nobody's asked for it yet.
I'm going to give you the whole load today.
Wait, you get to hit buttons too?
Yeah, did you forget about that?
I guess, yeah. I thought I had all control. Bad idea. I guess so.
So,
happy birthday, Paul.
When she was doing this, she seen a cart pass. There was 2 dead humanoid bodies that were preserved in chemicals. These were 4 to 5 feet tall. Heads were large compared to the bodies, and the eyes were slanted. And it's not clear if these were from the Roswell crash or another crash.
Yeah.
So after telling Charles Wilhelm some of the facts she knew, she commented, "Uncle Sam can't do anything to me once I'm in my grave." 6 months later, she passed away. Okay, next witness, Ray Scamanzi.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that.
He is a retired senior engineer. He worked in like this kind of Air Force stuff for 38 years. But he spent 9 months at Wright Patterson Air Force Base. He retired in 2011.
Ooh, he's still around then, probably.
Worked for Air Force Research Labs. Now, he's got 2 books. I didn't read these, so he calls these...
Wait, 50 Shades of Grey?
Grays. Grays.
Oh, of Grays.
It's a nice play.
It sounds like a porno, man.
Well, 50 Shades of Grey is the other one, the movie.
Yeah, right.
50 Shades of Shasta Grey is the porno.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Is it? Oh, so you know. Okay. So anyway, it's kind of like that play on words. Okay.
It's clever. I'll give him
that.
that.
Yeah, it is. And obviously, latching onto the coattails of that.
He did actually 2 books. Now, he didn't see any alien bodies or aircraft directly, this guy, but he said he had an incident where there was 2 men in black that came up to him. It was a men in black like encounter.
Yep.
And this was at the base. They looked out of place. And they asked, this is interesting because they asked him about Area 51. They asked him, would you like to see it? Now, I got this from a podcast and I never heard what his answer was. But I thought that was interesting. But
since when did the Men in Black ask you if you want to see Area 51?
Right. It could just be some older guy in a suit and tie or whatever, but I don't know.
I always like to pepper in the Men in Black encounters if they allegedly occur, because I think that they probably happen a little more than what we think.
But going back, when he was at the base in 1973, and he first came there as an educational student from the University of Detroit. He was assigned a mentor who he goes by the name of Al. That's an alias.
Mm-hmm.
So he was sitting in Building 22. This is an office building. First week at the base, went to an empty hangar, and his mentor said, "Have you heard about our aliens?" And he said, "We have aliens here. There's a crash out west, and they brought the bodies here." And then he said the aliens are in the tunnels.
Interesting. That was 1973, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So when he was working at the base, he asked other personnel, and everyone said, "Oh yeah, we have them."
So it was common knowledge on the base that there was aliens being stored there,
Yeah.
but they were all basically. So I'm sure to get a job there, you got to sign.
Oh, you bet.
Something
Top
that
secret
says
security clearance.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Luis Elizondo from TTSA he said he's for life. He's under his security clearance, so he can't talk about any of that stuff.
Except for he does when no one's listening. He's not recording it.
So,
That housed the living and deceased. So they had live aliens there.
So his mentor told him about a system of tunnels that are under the base, housed there and living. So yeah, those cryogenic. Does that again? That corroborates with the other witness when they said that they had the 100 feet by 100 feet areas down below. So the rumor is that the UFO alien is still on the base. Now, I've heard a couple different things about this. Some people say that stuff is still there. Some people say it's not. We don't know. I mean, will we ever know? That's the question. Hell no. So what I'm going to do, we're going to take a break and we're going to get into an interesting clip with a senator who wanted to get access to one of the rooms on the base coming up. So stay tuned for that. We're going to take a quick break here. And I want to give a shout out to My Patriot Supply. They reached out to us. I urge you to go to preparewithk2d4.com and build your emergency food supply today. Great company, food supply, very important. They got a 4-week emergency food supply here, 2,000 plus calories with 284 servings. They got breakfast, lunch, dinner, and drinks. Save $100 today, limited time offer, free shipping and handling. You can't go wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And some of this stuff is really good. When you look at this, Pete, look at the cheesy broccoli soup.
Yeah, it looks
mac and
good,
cheese.
man.
You said you had some mac and cheese, didn't
I
you?
haven't eaten it yet, but I do have some from them in a container. I've been saving it for camping.
Creamy Alfredo pasta.
I mean,
buttermilk pancakes.
I've done a lot of freeze-dried camping meals, and they've been good. And these look very comparable, if not better. Although I doubt the fresh mint is provided with the chocolate pudding, just so people are aware of that.
My Patriot Supply is here to help you prepare for the worst. Again, go to preparewithk2d4.com and get ready now. And that's much appreciated, and that supports the broadcast, and we're proud to work with My Patriot Supply.
And, you know, Dan, all I got to say is with this, it doesn't hurt to have some shelf-stable food that'll get you through, a few weeks, a month or two, with all of the crap that goes on in the world, power outages, turmoil.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we have a very fragile infrastructure, man. And so,
and you've seen that with the long lines,
yeah,
and toilet paper runs, and all that.
Even right now, you go into the grocery store and there's stuff that just isn't on the shelf, and I'm like, what is going on? So, folks, squirrel away a little money, get one of these buckets or two of these buckets, stick it in the corner in your basement, attic, whatever. And when the lights go out, you got it. You got some time to relax and plan your next moves.
Yep, that's preparewithk2d4.com. And also, I want to say that we're doing a sale ourselves for the network.
Oh, we are, Dano. It's getting to be that time of year.
Isn't it? I always do the sale once a year.
Frightful.
I'm not those people who do a sale like all the time. It's like, all right, it's the holiday. You got to do one. You got to give back to the people.
I'm dashing through the snow.
So go to K2D4network.com. You can go over there, folks, and you can get our mugs. I think Pete's got one over there, and the cover-up mug.
Yes. This is one of my favorites. And the cover-up. It's about damn time.
Yep. You get 10% off if you use the code HOLIDAY20 at checkout. Awesome stuff. I even have this pillow. This thing was pretty good here.
Are you kidding me? That is awesome.
Great quality.
How long have you had that pillow, Dan? It's been a while now, right?
Yeah, because I got this one to do the quality test, and I was actually really happy with it.
And if you look at the printing's held up nice. It's not faded. It looks like it's a decent pillow.
Decently thick there too.
Yeah.
And also behind you, those beach towels.
Yes. Yeah. If you can see, here, let me move over a little
bit. That one, I was surprised that it actually turned out that good.
I like up in the, you can't see it, but up in the corner, there's the little,
the cube,
yeah,
and the swirly thing.
Yeah, the swirly thing. I don't know how to describe it. But anyway, quality beach
Here, we'll
towel.
do this. Yeah, so there it is, folks. You got the cube and then the squirrely thing. It's basically the background that's going on behind us right here on the wide shot.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
it's our
thing.
monitors behind us.
Maybe somebody wants to get a couple of these and mimic the show.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
It's cheaper than buying 2 TVs, I'll tell you that.
That's right. It sure is. Mimicry is the highest form of flattery, right? When someone wants to mimic you. So, yeah, go for it. Get some beach towels. Make your own damn Talk is Cheap show.
And we got the shirts over there and the cover-up shirt, Be the Change shirt. It's all over there. Again, and the cover-up one was the hot seller. So
I'm just thinking about it. If somebody went out and parodied us or, started stealing our stuff, I don't think we got enough money to get lawyers to get them to stop. So
probably not.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? Any publicity is good publicity. So here's your chance. Go out there, copy us. I hope you make $1 billion because we'd pick up some of the crumbs along that way.
All right. Yeah. Again, that's Holiday 20 at checkout, and you'll get 10% off. All right, let's get back to the show.
Yeah.
So, interestingly here on Larry King, we got U.S. Senator Barry Goldwater.
Think you can handle that?
He ran for president in 1964 against Lyndon B. Johnson, and he tried to gain access to the Blue Room in the early 60s. And he called Curtis E. Lee May, who was the general, but he was also his friend. And I'll play the clip here. Now, quick warning, this is some really, really shitty audio, and I did my best to clean it up, and it kind of dips in and out, but just try to listen really closely here as we go through it, and very interesting.
Barry Goldwater, senator, presidential candidate, and believer.
I can't back that up, but I think that at Wright Patterson Field, if you could get into certain places, you'd find out what the Air Force and the government knows about UFOs.
From his ham radio shack outside Phoenix,
That's how you know he's legit, ham radio shack.
Hells yeah, man.
senator disclaims direct knowledge of UFOs, but he does confirm a disturbing story about an exchange with General Curtis LeMay.
Reportedly, a spaceship landed. It was all hushed up, quieted, and nobody ever... I've never heard about much of it. I called Curtis LeMay and I said, General, I know we have a room at Wright Patterson where you put all this secret stuff. Can I go in there? I've never heard him get mad, but he got madder than hell at me, cussed me out, said, don't ever ask me that question again.
Interesting. People don't react like that if there isn't a room with secret stuff in it, right?
Well, the thing is, too, if it's his friend, he doesn't want to,
Barry Goldwater ended up suiciding himself, right?
Or even telling him no, because he kind of doesn't want to lie to his friend. So
yeah. Well, and he was probably concerned about his safety, man. Dude, you're going to be suicided if you keep asking those questions. Interesting. Barry Goldwater comes with a little baggage, though, doesn't he? I gotta look into him a little bit.
Oh, I guess I didn't look at that part. Probably would have been interesting, I suppose.
Well, that's not the first time I've heard of Barry Goldwater.
And he didn't get many votes, I don't think. I remember that when I looked. I think I was looking at the voting map. But.
Okay.
All right, I digress. Yeah. So the Blue Room. Now, this is interesting here. This is where the FOIAs come in. So the earliest FOIA request concerning the Blue Room was made on December 30th, 1980. So they got a reply from the U.S. Air Force that there were no records of the Blue Room. I'll bring up the actual document. This is from Alfred
who's
E. Cole.
William Moore?
So,
he's the guy that requested
So
it.
Bill Moore, okay. I went into this with Grant Cameron when he was on the show. So you know who Stephen Greer was?
Yep.
You know, we know who Tom DeLonge is?
Yep.
They're guys that are trying to get the UFO stuff out there, and then the idea of some people in the government using these people to get stuff leaked and get it out there. So he was before Stephen Greer. So Bill Moore. So he did the FOIA and basically saying, okay, there's no Blue Room there. All right, so scroll down.
Oh, see, that's the thing. You got to phrase it just right, because Project Blue
Exactly.
Room, right?
So next, there was a discovery here. This was on another FOIA request. The Air Force states there was a blue room that images were taken and that they underwent destruction. So let's look at this FOIA. So this is a response to your blah, 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 Freedom of Information Act. So this is about the 35 millimeter footage. Now the title is Blue Room, Wright Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio, 1955. So that was a film that was destroyed.
They don't destroy that stuff, man.
Yeah, they said they destroyed the film on.
So but the thing is, they admitted there was a blue room.
Exactly.
You're right. You're right.
So they said they destroyed it on 9th of September, 1965.
They don't destroy that stuff. Come on. I hope that guy appealed it.
So going down again. Okay, so this next FOIA says, please furnish copies of all our documents.
This is a good one.
Pertaining the files, functions of the operation of Blue Room, which was confirmed by the DoD to have been a project and or location at Wright Patterson Air Force Base. Again, it was active in 1955, and then he sent that one out, and then it came back.
Yeah, what's the response? This is great, Dan. This is awesome, dude.
And then it came back saying, it turns out that the Office for the Records of the Blue Room is NASIC, National Air and Space Intelligence Center. Okay, so the NASIC, this mission is defined.
The folks on the podcast, I'm sorry, you're missing out here, man.
So the NASIC mission is to gather and analyze specialized global intelligence on current and projected threats from air and space realms. That is NASIC, and they admitted that was part of where the Blue Room originated from. So they're burying themselves pretty deep here. So then they tried to get more information, but it got denied. So again,
they could not locate any records.
So they said a search was conduced for the record you requested, and it could not locate any records.
They're calling it something different. They're calling it something besides the Blue Room.
Records associated with the Blue Room and could not locate any records. So they're basically, that's what it got into, is they were just getting the runaround at that point. So gotta love it.
Interesting. They admitted the existence of it and then said there were no records of it. That's typical government stuff, man.
That's crazy, man.
Oh, hell no.
So let's talk about some of the other stuff.
Think you can handle that?
Project Silverbug. This is interesting.
What is up with this stuff, man? You are like totally bringing up some new stuff tonight, Dan.
So I'm going back to the table of contents on this one, because let's look at the cover page. This is the technical report. So this is Project Silverbug, and this is February 15th, 1955, and this is at Wright Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio.
We should take a trip down there, Dan.
I was thinking the same thing.
You think we'd get arrested?
Well, they have a museum, so you can at least get to that point.
Yeah, and then we'll sneak off. We'll sneak off from there, and then make sure all of our end of life documents are in order as we get disappeared.
What did I say? Dan Hofeld did not kill himself.
Yeah.
But here, Project Silverbug. This is a freaking UFO. This document, you can go through it. There's a lot of stuff here, but it's basically telling about air intake, what to do.
What do they say it's propelled by? Did you get to that? Did they talk about propulsion?
There is a propulsion section. Let me go back to that.
Wow, those are pretty detailed drawings of a UFO, including cutaways that show the equipment.
So they got the airflow into intake
during takeoff and landing. So they're assuming there's air available during takeoff and landing. So could you take off on the moon?
Let's start at propulsion system. There it is.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so can you read that?
Scrolling a little bit.
Let me zoom in.
Okay, the proposed power plant for the single engine research vehicle is basic. Ally a double-sided radial flow turbojet engine. The heart of this engine is a very large diameter rotor disc, which utilizes compressor air bleed as its only means of lubrication. Compressor stators, diffuser, combustion tubes, and so it's combustion.
But the whole idea with this, they might not have figured out the propulsion.
Right. The combustion system consists of flame tubes distributed between the structural ribs of the aircraft. So, so there is an internal combustion engine, and they're creating pressure. Oh, okay. So it's kind of a reverse engineered alien technology with 1955 propulsion technology. So they're, instead of your plasma anti-gravity thing, they're just burning jet fuel.
Oh yeah, the thing is, if you're trying to reverse engineer these alien craft, like, oh, we can't figure out the propulsion system, let's build the frickin' thing, and we can always change.
Yeah,
it
they
out.
just build a jet engine because they're going to test everything else, right? The aerodynamics and this and that. Okay.
Or wait till technology gets up there.
So what I find interesting about this is that it's still disc shaped in 1955. When did the TR-3B come around? Because it seems like more modern has gone triangular, right? Dan, is that accurate?
I know. I'm trying to think of the whistleblower on that, but the TR-3B, but I believe that was in the 1980s he talked about. So probably 70s when you go back.
So they graduated from disc to triangle.
Ed Fouché, that is, by the way, if you want to look up TR-3B.
Good job. Good one. I can't help but liken this to my comment a few episodes ago when I was like, why are all these alien things hieroglyphs, right? And then you mentioned, oh, well, look at our emojis and how our language is going that way. And I wonder if this is the same thing, is that the technology to operate a disc in that fashion is still so far out in the future that we started with a disc because that's what we found. We went to triangles because that's what worked, but we're going to progress back into discs now once technology catches back up. So anyway.
Yeah, so they can keep the damn thing straight.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you think about it, it would be really hard to keep the pitch and et cetera of a disc true with technology, especially back in the day. Whereas, you put a triangle, you've got that leading point, you've got aerodynamics to help you, et cetera, et cetera. So I would imagine a disc would knuckleball unless it's spinning really fast. And if you don't have the internal environment to prevent problems, you basically got a flying gravitron. You remember the gravitron from?
Oh yeah.
The fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I never went on it because it scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, it was fun.
What's interesting here, I think somebody just put this in here. You can do this on Google. Somebody put Hangar 18 here, and it says electronics store. You click on it, scroll down, and somebody just wrote alien craft here.
Leonardo Albuquerque.
But back to the map. So they got the museum over here now.
Because it's Google, right? You can put whatever tags you want on there.
Somebody put like the one at Area 51. I was S4, I think, or whatever. I scrolled there and I saw one of those pins where you could leave reviews. I left a review and it said, these assholes won't release the technology.
Oh, nice. So you made the list then, is what you're saying. You're on a list somewhere now, Dano.
So if you want to see that, go over there and look at it, folks. But so the museum in these hangars, interestingly, here they got this actually sitting in the museum.
No, come on.
This is called the Avro car.
This is their prototype. Is it a car or is it a flying object?
It hovers about 3 feet off the ground.
It really does, truly?
Yeah, it's just the fan on it.
Okay.
There's a top
I like the little
here.
bubble view with the Jetson bubble spots.
So
okay, it's fan powered. That's kind of cool.
I think I've showed the video on the show before of them flying this thing.
Maybe
I can put it in B-roll. I should have grabbed it, but I'll put it in B-roll. This was a test car, a testing unit, if you will, and it never progressed. Allegedly,
to the public in the public's realm, it never progressed. But who knows what the military did with it?
But this is over there. If we go to the museum, we can go see it.
That's awesome, dude. It doesn't look like it's made that good. It looks like it's like, look at the front. It looks like it's ran into a bunch of stuff.
Again, it's prototype, and I was watching.
I'm sure they were bouncing it off a wall.
Oh, there's a video. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna try driving it like in this ditch," and it's like, "Let's see if it goes straight." I've never seen it bottom out once, but like. They were driving it in the rain, the grass, the gravel.
Yeah. Transferring water to hard surface and stuff. I mean, it's a precursor to the modern day hovercraft, basically, right?
So, interestingly, no aliens at Roswell, but they're researching this. They got Project Silverbug that looks like UFO craft. Now, I don't think that Project Silverbug made it past the documentation phase, but I beg to differ. There's probably some secrets.
I'm sure it was tested somewhere, and then they moved on to other propulsion systems, and then couldn't handle the aerodynamics, so they made it triangular, and hence the TR-3B.
Do it now.
So one more document here I want to show before we go today. This is on the CIA's website, CIA.gov.
Sanitized copy.
Now, this is not a April 1st time on this thing. This is dated February 17th, 1967. The part I want to get to here is basically this is a document saying that there's a picture of a UFO unidentified flying object, and it says the photography for this project was supplied by Aerial Phenomenon Office located at Wright Patterson Air Force Base.
Oh, so supplied by Wright Patterson. Interesting.
So again, there's more connections to Wright Patterson looking at UFOs and at least interested in the idea. He put all this together. Again, I don't have these. I think I might have seen these. It's not in this document with the photos, but I think there was another one I seen that it looked like.
Do we get to see the photos?
Well, that's what I'm telling you about. They look kind of shitty. Like,
well, that's what they just said. I was reading there, and they said they're like. Really
it wasn't
poor
worth
quality.
Sharing the ones I seen if they were actually the same ones. So you ain't missing anything out. But
wait, so we're not going to see the photos?
That's not the point of this. Showing this document.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm like,
the point of the document is to show
you
you that they're actually interested in looking at UFOs. But okay, we can show you. I'll show you the summary because that can be interesting. Photo analysis of this UFO photograph has resulted in inconclusive answers. That's all you need to know.
But there's no definitive evidence that this photography is a hoax either. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. So again, I'm just showing back here that.
So they don't know that it can't be discounted. It's not a UFO. It can't be said it is a UFO.
This is serious on the CIA's website. They're studying Project Silverbug. Well, they got the other Admiral.
And you're making a very valid point here. From as far back as we can go, Dan, the government has been interested in investigating UFOs and unidentified aerial phenomena. You know.
Oh yes.
So it's Again, it's kind of like what we had talked about when we talked about the QAnon and this legislation going against QAnon. If they don't hold any value to it, they're not going to put any effort into to looking into it or discounting it or whatever. So, UFOs certainly had the interest of the U.S. government for a long time, longer than you and I have been alive.
So there you go. Interesting story. Wright Patterson. I mean, I was pretty blown away. Actually, when I started this research, it didn't seem like there was much there, and I kept digging. Wow.
Yeah, no, this is great. I
always
love your topics, man.
So it was very interesting. So thank you for the topic, Nick Burford.
That's tomorrow. And that is it for us today.
Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our audio podcast if you haven't already, because we never know when we might get pulled. Again, we're on LBRY and BitChute. Again, if you want any of these cool products to help support the show, it's much appreciated. And you can type in the code HOLIDAY20 at checkout to get 10% off your purchase.
That's right. And check out Patriot Supply too, man.
Absolutely. Later, boys.
And girls.
And girls.